You aren't resting, you are rotting. You've convinced yourself that your current situation is safe because it's familiar. But let's be honest, you've fallen in love with your cage. You think you've reached a plateau of peace, but in reality, you've just stopped climbing because the air got a little thin and your legs got a little tired. Look at yourself. It's late, and instead of preparing for a tomorrow that demands your best, you are lying in a bed that has become far too soft, scrolling through the highlights of people who actually had the courage to leave their prison. You tell yourself you'll start that business, fix your body, or have that difficult conversation when the time is right. But the clock doesn't care about your comfort. While you sit there waiting for the perfect feeling, the walls of your nice, warm prison are closing in. Within the next 60 seconds, I want you to acknowledge the specific lie you told yourself today. Maybe it was when you chose the convenience of fast food because the kitchen felt too far away. Maybe it was when you stayed silent in that meeting because being noticed felt too risky. Or maybe it was when you checked your bank account, felt that familiar sting of not enough, and then immediately opened an app to numb the pain. That numbing, that's the sedative they give you in the prison of comfort. You feel safe because nothing is attacking you, but you forget that nothing is growing either. There is a hidden mechanism, a psychological trapdoor, that you have been stepping on every single morning. You think you're choosing ease, but you're actually triggering a process that guarantees your future misery. You haven't seen it yet because you're too busy adjusting the pillows in your cell. But by the time we are done here, the walls will be gone, and you will be left with a terrifying, beautiful choice. Why does the brain choose the prison? It's because your brain is a primitive organ designed for survival, not for success. It wants to keep you in the cave where it's warm, and the tigers can't see you. But we don't live in caves anymore. We live in a world where the tigers have been replaced by inflation, obsolescence, and the slow, agonizing death of your own potential. Think of Jim Rohn's Farmer and the Weeds. The farmer doesn't have to do anything to grow a garden full of weeds. He can just sit on his porch, drink his lemonade, and stay comfortable. The weeds don't need an invitation. They don't need a strategy. They just need the farmer to be at ease. Neglect is the primary tool of the prison of comfort. If you do nothing, the weeds of poverty, the weeds of poor health, and the weeds of broken relationships will take over your life by default. Successes, on the other hand, is an intrusion. You have to walk into the field and fight for it. The brain hates this. It chooses distraction because the now feels better than the later. It would rather have the cheap dopamine of a notification on a screen than the heavy, hard-earned satisfaction of a completed goal. This is the empty jar logic. You are filling your life with sand, small, meaningless comforts, and then wondering why there is no room for the big stones of achievement. You think you are being kind to yourself by taking it easy, but you are actually being cruel to your future self. Every time you choose the couch over the craft, you are stealing from the man you were supposed to become. The cost of staying the same is actually much higher than the cost of discipline. Discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. You are currently paying in ounces, thinking you're getting a deal. But the bill for regret comes due at the end of the life cycle, and it is a debt no man can pay. Comfort is not a reward for your hard work. It is the rust that develops when you stop moving. The ant doesn't seek comfort. It seeks the goal. It doesn't matter how many times you block its path. It will keep moving because it knows that standing still is death. You have become too good at standing still. To break out of a prison, you must first recognize that the bars are made of your own habits. There is no warden outside of you. You are the one locking the door every morning when you hit the snooze button. In the world of Jim Rohn, we talk about the ant philosophy. An ant never stays comfortable. If you put your finger in an ant's path, it doesn't sit down and wait for the finger to move. It goes up, it goes over, it goes under, it goes around. It is constantly seeking a way out of the obstacle. Most humans, however, hit an obstacle and decide it's a sign that they should go back to their cell and wait for better weather. True leadership of the self begins with the rule of ruthless elimination. You must look at your life and find the nice things that are stopping you from having great things. Maybe it's a job that pays just enough to keep you from quitting, but not enough to make you free. That is a dangerous prison. It provides a steady drip of just enough to kill your hunger. You think you're being responsible, but you're actually being sedated. You must learn to sow in the winter so you can reap in the autumn. The comfortable man waits for the perfect weather to plant his seeds. The disciplined man knows that the weather is never perfect, so he plants anyway, even when his hands are cold and his back hurts. Most of you will ignore this and stay average, because average is the ultimate comfort. Let's talk about your identity. Why does working hard in silence make you a better person? Because it builds a version of you that doesn't need external applause to feel valid. When you are in the prison of comfort, you are constantly looking for others to tell you that you're doing okay. But when you break out and face the harsh winds of the real world, you develop a quiet certainty. You start to realize that money isn't just paper. It's a scorecard of the value you've provided while others were sleeping. Health isn't just about muscles. It's about the discipline to say no to the momentary pleasure of the tongue for the long-term vitality of the body. But here is a harder truth. Your relationships are also a reflection of your prison. If you surround yourself with people who only want to talk about the good old days and never about the difficult tomorrow, you are in a collective cell. You are all holding the keys, but no one wants to be the first to open the door because it might make the others feel bad. You think you're being loyal, but you're actually being a partner in a suicide pact of potential. You must be willing to walk alone for a while if you want to find the people who are actually going somewhere. Your current circle is often the biggest lock on your prison door. Beyond the effort lies the mindset of personal responsibility. Jim Rohn famously said, "The government doesn't change, but you can change." The prison of comfort thrives on blame. It's the economy's fault, it's the boss's fault, it's my parents' fault. As long as the fault is out there, you can stay in here comfortably. But the moment you take full responsibility for your stagnant bank account, your softening midsection, and your lonely heart, the prison bars start to melt. You realize that you have the power to change everything, and that realization is the most uncomfortable feeling in the world. It's uncomfortable because it removes your excuses. Responsibility is the enemy of comfort. As you move forward, you must implement the 90-day sprint. Don't look at the next 5 years. Look at the next 90 days. What are the 3 non-negotiable disciplines that will make you feel like a stranger to your old self? If you're broke, it's the discipline of tracking every cent and increasing your skill value. If you're unhealthy, it's the discipline of the 5 a.m. walk when the world is still dark. If your relationships are shallow, it's the discipline of radical honesty. You don't need more motivation. You need more friction. You need to make your prison so uncomfortable that you have no choice but to leave. You must understand the price of admission to a better life. The price is your current lifestyle. You cannot take your current comfort into your future success. They cannot occupy the same space. You have to leave the blanket behind if you want to climb the mountain. Most people stand at the base of the mountain and complain that it looks cold at the top. Of course it's cold. But the view is only for those who were willing to freeze for a little while. You are waiting for a rescue that is never coming because you are both the prisoner and the guard. Finally, understand the law of sowing and reaping in the context of your daily routine. If you sow comfort today, you will reap crisis tomorrow. If you sow discipline today, you will reap freedom tomorrow. It is a mathematical certainty. You cannot plant weeds and expect to harvest corn. Look at your calendar. Look at your bank statement. Look at your reflection. These are the crops you have grown from the seeds of your past comfort. If you don't like the harvest, you must change the seeds. And changing the seeds requires you to get your hands dirty in the soil of hard work, far away from the nice prison of your couch. Everything we have discussed comes back to one single point: identity. Discipline is not a chore you do. It is an identity you inhabit. You aren't trying to be disciplined. You're a disciplined person, a prisoner sees the walls and feels safe. A free man sees the horizon and feels a duty to explore it. Think about where you will be in 5 years if you stay in this nice prison. Your income will likely be the same, adjusted for inflation. Your health will be slightly worse, as the slow decay of inactivity takes its toll. Your dreams will be smaller, covered in the dust of someday. Now imagine the version of you that chose the pain of discipline today. That person is unrecognizable. That person has the quiet certainty. They don't scream for attention because their results do the talking. They have turned their nice prison into a training ground. The compounding effect of these small, uncomfortable choices is the only magic that exists in this world. One book doesn't make you wise, and one workout doesn't make you fit. But 500 books and 1,000 workouts make you a force of nature. You are building a skyscraper, brick by brick. The comfort seeker stops when it rains. The builder keeps going because he knows the rain is just temporary, but the building is for a lifetime. Reframing your life means accepting that the struggle is the evidence of your growth. If you are feeling the identity-based pressure right now, good. That means the real you, the winner you were meant to be, is trying to kick the door down. The choice is between the heavy certainty of success or the heavy burden of regret. Both are heavy. Pick your weight. The door is open. It has always been open. There is no hype here, no music to make your heart race, and no empty promises. There is only the fact that you are currently standing at the intersection of who you are and who you could be. The prison of comfort feels like home because it demands nothing of you. It lets you dream without the requirement of doing. It lets you talk without the requirement of delivering. But home shouldn't be a place where you go to hide from your potential. It should be a place where you go to recover so you can go back out and fight for it. Here is your challenge. Immediately after this ends, do the one thing you've been comfortably avoiding. Do not think about it. Do not analyze it. Do not wait for the mood to strike. If you've been avoiding a difficult conversation, pick up the phone. If you've been avoiding your health, walk out the front door and start moving. If you've been avoiding your business, sit down and do the deep work for 60 minutes. The first step out of the prison is always the smallest, but it's the only one that matters. You don't need a map. You just need to move away from the cell. The day you take full responsibility for your life, without excuses, without blame, and without the need for comfort, is the day you truly begin your climb. Don't join an easy crowd. You won't grow. Go where the expectations are high and the demands are great. Class dismissed.